Welcome to the webinar for Cybersecurity and Electrification and Automation for Power System. Our topic today is cybersecurity in secondary product like protection relay, SIPROTEC 5 for protection engineers. The presentation will give you the possibility to understand the three main security features recommended for substation automation and protection system. The security event log or syslog, the role-based access control, and the secure communication. My intention is to show you how easy it is to activate security feature in SIPROTEC 5. First, I will introduce the protection device in the environment, mainly called secure substation. Then I will talk about the easiest feature called syslog. After that, I will explain in a simple way what is TLS used for encryption everywhere as main state-of-the-art feature. The third part is related to role-based access control, or airbag, with central managed user using the protocol LDAP-S. And at last topic will be how to use and configure secure or encrypted communication in SIPROTEC 5 with a focus on secure MMS. From a cybersecurity point of view, protection device must be considered as an integral part of the secure substation or secure substation solution. Maybe you already heard about the secure substation blueprint. If not, we at Siemens, we focus on the standard, and one of them is the IC 62443, the cybersecurity standard for any kind of automation system, including protection and control system for electrical substation. And according with this requirement, we validate with the TÜV a best practice architecture for substation automation. These include aspects such as network segmentation, access control and account management, logging and others. Today, we will cover some aspects that are especially relevant for cybersecurity of this protection relay. At the end, the goal is of all of these measures is to ensure the availability and integrity of the protection relays. That is why we also will learn for each feature in the device the counterpart in the secure substation that will interact with the device. Considering security logging, the protection device will interact with the so-called syslog server. If we consider access control and account management, the protection device will interact with the so-called central active directory, managing the user, password and roles. Considering the data protection with secured communication, we need to create so-called certificate with the encryption key within using the certificate manager. SIPROTEC 5, but also our automation product like SICM A1000 or SICM PAS have already integrated cybersecurity feature by design. Some of them to be activated via configuration, and some of them are inbuilt in the device to have peace of mind. As first feature, our firmware is signed with a Siemens certificate, and this is the main protection feature against malware protection. And the device integrates firewall rules that do not need to be changed via configuration. For the next feature, you have to configure the connection to the partner in the device. Security event information are stored in non-volatile persistent memory and transferred over syslog protocol to a syslog server. Airbag with central user management in an active directory are realized with role predefined in the IC 62351-8. The communication between protection device and the central user system is LDAP-S, and the roles are defined securely in certificates. And finally, with secure communication, to avoid that an attacker can change the content of the information exchanged, are mainly protected with a TLS feature. TLS stands for Transport Layer Security, where we need to configure certificates. And we at Siemens, we make it easy with the tool SICAM GridPass to manage the secure key with certificates. In summary, with the secure subsession, we have seen that the protection device have to interact with other IT component. And this is important to understand for the engineer of the cybersecurity feature in the device. Let us jump directly in this first simple feature called syslog. By default, security rival logs are stored locally in the device. In addition, those logs can also be sent via the network using the syslog protocol. In this example, show a field engineer who is loading a new configuration to a SIPROTEC 5 device. This will immediately create a log message, which will be sent out via the syslog protocol to a syslog server. The syslog server collects and stores the security relevant logs from all components of a system, including firewall logs and Windows event logs. In addition, this log message can also be sent to a SIEM system for further analysis. SIEM stands for Security Information and Event Management. The SIEM system can raise alerts in case of suspicious activities, for example, unplanned configuration change in the SIPROTEC relay. Now let us look how logging is easily activated with the engineering tool Dixie. You can see that the engineering software Dixie 5 is open and our project has been loaded. In the section Safety and Security, Security Event Logging, you can activate syslog. You have to define the IP address of the syslog server, the communication port, and the communication module that shall be used to send out the syslog information. You can optionally also configure a second syslog server for redundancy. Let me explain the demo environment. As syslog client, we have SIPROTEC 5 device. Not as physical device, but as virtual device, the so-called SIPROTEC 5 digital twin. Also for you as customer, you can access and get an access to a one-to-one simulation of the SIPROTEC 5 device in the cloud. And as syslog server, we simply use a Windows freeware called Visual Syslog Server. The digital twin and my PC are protected via a virtual private network. And clear, I also have Dixie 5 installed on my PC to activate the settings for the cybersecurity feature. And via HTTPS, I can access the web page of the SIPROTEC 5 device. Here I'm in the digital twin, and on the project I can select one or more devices to be simulated. And I have clicked on Simulation. When I navigate to the tile Device, now I can see the device simulated in other real device with front display, for example. Then I start the freeware Visual Syslog server. With a browser, I can connect to the device via the web UI and Also, when role-based access control is not enabled, I can see a syslog message saying a user has initiated a remote session. The IP address of my PC is indicated in the message, and the message has the timestamp of the event in the device. So I really know who, what, and when a security event happens. Let's see if I can demonstrate it live and come back later to the slide. Yes, now my SIPROTEC device is running as digital twin. So I see that I have configured in Dixie here under security event logging. I have configured the IP address of my Visual Syslog server, the port, and only that I have to do. And if I want, I can also send it to a redundant server. So when I open here my Visual Syslog server, I see some syslog message. And for example, when I go to my SIPROTEC device via the web UI, I can log in to this device here without role-based access control. So I will get here the last message here from now. Here a user has initiated a remote session from my IP address and with a timestamp from exactly now. Okay, I can also demonstrate if you do some change in the device. Maybe, for example, with a digital twin, you also can simulate the front display. You can log in here with your confirmation IDs. And, for example, navigate to the settings. For example, here, changing some time delay or threshold. Change it from 1.6 to 1.50, for example. And now you have to confirm that you want to make the change. Confirm it with OK. And the configuration is changed. And you see here in real time here the syslog message coming in the syslog server that someone has changed the configuration setting are changed with a timestamp. Okay, so let's go back to the slides. Before we go to the next agenda point, I also want to show you how it is possible to activate the syslog protocol over TLS. Why it could be required to secure or encrypt the syslog message. IT people and security experts expect that hacker could be able to manipulate the clear text syslog message sent from the device in a non-protected environment, or remember the secure substation architecture in case the syslog server is outside the secure zone. The encryption via TLS will be the next topics that I want to explain after the summary of syslog. Syslog in summary. Syslog is simple to activate in our device. You only need the IP address of the syslog server, and syslog is easy to test with some freeware. Syslog is a basic for cybersecurity, for substation protection and automation system, and also for IT device. In case of an attack, you are able to quickly analyze who, what, and when attacker will work invisible in the dark. Syslog is the light to see what happens. That is why it is recommended in the IC 62443. And optionally, it can be encrypted via TLS as recommended in the IC 62351. Now let us introduce TLS and certificates, because it will be used for all the other features that we want to present. Features like airbag and secure communication are based on TLS to encrypt the communication. TLS stands for Transport Layer Security. TLS is the IT standard for secure communication with certificate. TLS is used every day whenever you are in the internet getting information from a web server via HTTPS, where S stands for TLS. That is why it's recommended in the IC 62443 and IC 62351 in a secure substation environment. Let us remember the principle of TLS that stands for Transport Layer Security. Let us have the analogy in the Middle Age, where kings, princes, and lords want to exchange secret message. First of all, to exchange an encryption key and need to be protected from the enemy. They put the encryption algorithm or encryption key in an envelope and secure it with a seal. When the partner receives a message, he will check if the seal pattern is part of the list of trusted seals. And if you want to trust your partner, he also has to send the encryption code inside an envelope protected by his own seal. When you receive the message, you will check if the seal pattern is part of the list of the trusted seal. And now let us have the analogy with the IT world for this old concept. The seal is in IT system the certification authority, or abbreviation CA. The list with the seal pattern is a CA repository or CA store, trusted CA store. The envelope with the encryption key is a so-called X509 certificate issued by one of the trusted CA. In case the two partners request a certificate, this mechanism is called mutual authentication or client-server authentication. And we have to mention an important piece of the TLS puzzle. It's the PKI, or Public Key Infrastructure, where SICAM Grid Pass play this role. SICAM Grid Pass can create CAs, can create, sign and manage X509 certificate, and much more, like managing automatically certificate via EST protocol. We use TLS every day when connect with a browser to an internet page. Our browser is a so-called TLS client and the web server a TLS server. We present a certificate issued by a CA or a CA chain. For example, via the internet link SIPROTEC digital twin siemens.com. He acts as a digital twin web page or server protected via TLS in the cloud. Our browser will show the closed lock icon, which means the connection is secure because the issuer CA is known in the CA repository. And then you can see the certificate with the X509 define attributes like serial number, signature algorithm, and also the issuer of the CA that have signed this certificate. And if you look in your Windows system with the user certificate manager, you can find in the Trusted Root Certification Authority, the corresponding root CA. Why should we talk about TLS? Because it's used as a state-of-the-art method for encryption. And we have implemented this everywhere in SIPROTEC 5 where data integrity is necessary. For the engineering tool DIXI, the communication protocol is encrypted via TLS with mutual authentication. For the access to the web page, HTTPS is encrypted via TLS with server authentication. In case syslog message wants to be protected from manipulation, TLS can also be applied. We will see as next that it is also a good idea to protect the check of the user and password with a central airbag with a protocol called LDAP-S, where S stands also for TLS. And clear TLS is used to encrypt the communication protocol IEC 16150 MMS. We also implement the automated certificate management as recommended in the IEC 62341-9. And the protocol there is called EST, that stands for Enrollment over Secure Transport. And it's based on TLS with mutual authentication. Clear TLS theory is much more complex if you want to understand the mathematical encryption algorithm, but that is not our goal. Much more important for engineering point of view is to remember the story of the certificate as an envelope that is signed with a seal, and that the counterpart need to know the pattern of the seal to accept and trust this information in the certificate.